Captain Marvel is the latest film in the Marvel Universe and stars Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, an officer in the United States Air Force who is caught in a galactic war between two alien races. And all the meanwhile, she finds out her past and who she really is. Now, there has been a lot of controversy regarding this film around the last couple of weeks. Wherever you go on social media, you can always see people hating on this film. And I'm not 100% sure why people are so worked up about this, but I tried to not let it bother me too much. I just wanted to go into this and view it as a movie and nothing else. This movie surprised me in a lot of ways, mostly because I was going in with somewhat low expectations. This isn't one of the best superhero films out there, not by a long shot, and I don't think it will be a very memorable one either. But still, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I liked it a lot, and I think it is a pretty good origin movie. Now, I know what most of you are probably thinking. What the fuck? Are you seriously kidding me? Wonder Woman is so much better than this piece of shit. I'm going to see Alita rather than this atrocity. First of all, what the fuck? Alita came out a couple of weeks ago. Why are you just going to see it now? And secondly, yeah, that movie is better than Captain Marvel, and I agree that Wonder Woman has a better origin story as well, because the action in this movie is particularly bland. It wasn't memorable at all. Same goes for most of the visuals, but I believe that Brie Larson's character and her story got fleshed out really well. Not perfectly, but well enough where I can say, hey, that makes sense. That's not to say that she performed particularly well as Captain Marvel. I just think that her whole character arc was fully realized, and at the end I felt satisfied. Let's rewind back to the beginning, which quite frankly I thought was the most boring and slow-paced part of the movie. I, for one, am not particularly familiar with Captain Marvel's origin story through her comics. So for me, it just felt like I was thrown into the movie. I didn't have no backstory or anything. As she lands on Earth and meets a younger version of Nick Fury, the movie kind of picks up the pace a little bit. And my god, the de-aging CGI on Fury was top notch, and his performance was equally as impressive. But my favorite character of the movie would still be Goose the cat. Because yes, cats. And if you said the cat made the movie for you, then hey, I won't judge. I like how, yes, we are kind of thrown into the story, but then we gradually learn more and more. This is mostly due to random flashbacks that keep recurring. For the first few flashbacks though, I was like, this doesn't quite make as much sense as I would like it to make. But at the end of the movie, everything kind of ties together. If you think about it, flashbacks are a really boring way to show someone's past. But I think in this movie it kind of worked for me. Is it amazing? No, not at all. But is it fair? Yes, I think it is. In the beginning, I thought that the movie was quite messy. But at the end, after looking back on the whole movie, I no longer think that this is the case. This is one of those films that a single element or a few scenes won't make sense on its own. You have to view everything in order for it to make sense. For me, this movie didn't feel like a setup to Endgame at all. I actually felt like this movie had a purpose, and that is to show Captain Marvel's origin story. And I think it does that quite neatly. I really like the build-up for this movie. It does a great job of building up the story, which made the final act feel much more epic. I don't want to be that guy who gets overexcited at the littlest of things, but when Captain Marvel broke loose at the end and transcended like a god with glowing eyes, glowing everything, that was pretty badass. I also didn't expect the plot twist towards the end, but I still enjoyed it. It showed the movie from a different perspective. But let's talk about Brie Larson as Captain Marvel for a second. She did have some great scenes, and a quote or two, especially with her glowing hands. But for the most part, she just acted like a robot. She had a straight face for most of this movie. Even during the very emotional scenes, her face barely moved. And yet, the emotional scenes between her and her best friend didn't really work for me, because I feel like we don't have enough backstory to get emotional about. But overall, I did like this movie. I'm sure a lot of people don't like this movie. I look at YouTube comments. So many people dislike this movie. It's crazy. But no, I actually enjoyed this movie. It's by no means a perfect movie. It's by no means a good movie by Marvel standards. But yeah, like I said, I enjoy this movie for the most part. I think for Captain Marvel, the whole story made sense for me, and it flowed really well. I went in wanting to learn about this character, and I did. And I didn't have that empty feeling inside of me sometimes when I exit a movie theater. I'm going to rate Captain Marvel a B+. So Captain Marvel, have you seen it or not? Do you like it or hate it? Please leave a comment below. Leave a like if you liked the video and drop a sub to help grow the channel. And if you haven't already, please check out my previous video. Until next time.